Second season of Frieren is here, and I'm making her stuff. This time I'm filming during the process of building the prop, so I can talk about each step in more detail, while my thoughts about it are still fresh. There are multiple design variations of her stuff on the internet. For this build, the person who commissioned it asked for a more realistic look, so it has edges, sharper edges going along with the shape, to make it look a little bit more realistic and not like a bent hot dog on a stick. Another requirement was to make it fit into the luggage for transportation. For the top part, it's pretty straightforward, you can just take it off, but the rod must be modular. There are multiple options, and one of the popular ones is using plastic pipes. For this particular build, I don't really think it fits, because I want the rod to be rigid, and plastic pipes are often quite bendy. I know there are different types, but in general they are. I usually use aluminum tubes. They are rigid and light and not expensive. Carbon fiber tubes would be even better, because they are even more rigid and lighter, but more expensive. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any aluminum tubes locally. Right now I can't. So I found this. And this is a steel tube with a wall of 0.7 millimeters. It is used in furniture, like it's a tube railing or something like that. It's not very heavy, around 300 grams for 1 meter, and very rigid. So how do I make it in multiple parts so I can assemble them? Let's take a look. So this is how the inserts that connect the pieces of the rod are looking. They are going up to here somewhere, and they are glued using two-part epoxy. I printed them in horizontal position to increase strength for the part, because there will be a lot of forces trying to bend at this area. So if I were to print it in this orientation with the axis going up and down, this part wouldn't be as strong. On the receiving end, we have a long plastic nut glued there using two-part epoxy. It goes for the full length of the threads. What I like about this connection is that if I apply some force here, this joint doesn't show any signs of bending or anything. It stays rigid, and it's as close to a single part as I can get it in terms of rigidity. So yeah, I like this connection. What I like about this design is that I don't need a lot of glue to hold pieces together. All the parts of the rod are screwed together, and the detail parts, like this one at the end, for example, can just be removed like that. Friction is enough. Same goes for this part. I can remove this detail quite easily, but I will leave it for now. And I can just fit the top main part on the tube quite easily, and it holds on friction quite well. Why I like not needing the glue so much? If, for example, I decide to attend a convention that are local and close to me, or go to a photo shoot in the close by woods, for example, I can just replace those parts of the rod with one single piece and just put all of those details on that single piece, and it will look and behave much more the way I prefer. Now the main part. It consists of three pieces that should be glued together. The angle of this cut is such that the space for the rod here is at 45 degrees to the build plate. 45 degrees is a very good trade-off between print quality and strength, and we need a lot of strength in this area. All the stresses concentrate here, so I don't want it to break when you swing it too much. Also, I thought about repairability of this prop. In my experience, I had multiple, not many, but a couple of cases when people brought me my props completely broken. And a couple of times when people brought me props of other prop makers. And the main problem is that to fix something, you very often have to redo a lot of work from scratch. And I want this design to be modular, so if something breaks, it can be just as easy as like a spare part. So what can break here? My main concern is this central area. When I place the gems here, this area might be a bit heavy. So if you drop it or hit it on this edge, I think maybe, just probably, those pins, they can break. And if they do, what can we do to make the repair easy? So basically this is assembly that I can take apart whenever I want. All of those pins, they are not glued whatsoever. They will have a space for a bolt. So they will screw into this part, this one and this one. This one doesn't have a screw. So it screws, it attaches here. So there are two bolts that screws in this part. From the bottom, the rod will be supporting the sides of this pin. On the top, there will be this part with threads that will thread in here and press on this pin. And there is the part on top. And this way, if anything breaks, for example, the top pin, I can just disassemble this, reprint one small part, get it in there, and everything will be perfect. I really doubt that the bigger main part will experience any damage, because geometry-wise, it is a very stiff and rigid shape. So I think it will hold together nicely. So the only potential issue can be this or this or this, which is like 30-minute print. This is the general approach that I take for creating props and 3D printable designs for cosplay. Quality of life features and future proofing. Those things make the process much more enjoyable and gives me the opportunity to make props better. This particular 3D model will be available for free when I'm absolutely done with this project. This is how it usually goes. I need to go through the build to catch all of my design mistakes, and when I'm done, I release the model. At this point, I've glued those parts together and addressed minor print defects. Now I need to sand everything in preparation for priming. Also, I need to figure out how to make the big red gem in the middle. I have some cool ideas and I will be talking about this next time. Hope to see you there.